Hello and welcome back. Today I am going to be doing for you a favourite video, strictly makeup favourites today. I have been trying out quite a few new products over the last couple of months. A lot of base products actually that I'm going to just talk you through which ones I've been loving. Thank you so much for watching and let me know what your current favourites are below and let's just get into it. It is an incredibly humid, sticky day in the UK right now, or at least in Manchester where I live. It really needs to rain. It's been like this all weekend. It did actually rain last night, but it's still so humid today. It's not actually super warm. It's just really overcast and the air is just heavy, you know what I mean? So I've shut the window and I'm probably gonna sweat in this video, but it is what it is. And I prefer this weather definitely to the 10 degree freezing summer weather we've been having so far this year. So you gotta take the small wins. At least it's not put the heating on kind of weather. Okay, so the first product I'm going to talk about is, I have quite a few, like I say, base products to get through. So let's do this combo first of all. I have been looking for the perfect tinted moisturizer combo for summer because what I like to do in the summertime is, a tinted moisturizer would be great as well, but what I really have been enjoying doing the past year or so in the summertime is actually mixing the NYX Bear With Me Concealer Serum with a kind of glowy primer, and it sort of creates a concoction that is tinted moisturizer-esque. It's multi-purpose because you can just use the primer on its own or you can also just use the concealer on its own. This is one of my favourite concealers ever. I have been through a few bottles of this at this point. I wish they did it in a bigger size just because I love the formula so much. It's so fresh, glowy, effortless, clean makeup-esque on the skin. It's really nice. So you've seen me use this multiple times, but what I've been mixing it with is the Glow Hub High Glaze. I was going to say HY Glaze, it's High Glaze, but it's so glowy. It's in the shade Glazed. It doesn't have any tint to it, so it's not going to add any coverage to the skin. It really is more of a skincare-esque product, I'd say, but the texture of it is almost jelly-ish, and it just adds the most gorgeous, wet, truly wet look to the skin. There's no shimmer in it. It is just a really kind of slippery, glowy, gorgeous texture. If you have oily skin, I'm not sure you're gonna love this just because it does tend to add a lot of kind of slip and basically makes my skin look greasy, which is what I personally want, but I appreciate people with oily skin might not want that. So I really love this. They do a few different shades. I think they do shimmery ones, highlighter-y ones as well, but I feel this, I'm not really on TikTok that much, but I feel this maybe got a lot of hype on TikTok because I hear people saying, oh, I got this on TikTok shop. So like I said, I'm not really very good with TikTok crazes, but I saw this on Beauty Bay and that's where I got mine. And I also saw someone I follow on Instagram using it and I was like, I need to try that right now. But yeah, the combination of this with this is actually what I'm wearing on my skin today. And I've got cream bronzer and cream blush on, but I don't have any other highlighting product or glowy product on my face other than these two, and I think you can tell it gives a really nice natural finish. So this is my everyday, when I want a really no makeup kind of look, this is the combo that I'll use for that. And then moving on to the next kind of stage up is where I want to have a little bit more coverage, but I don't want to look full face of makeup kind of thing. So I might be going out for a nice lunch or going out for coffee, or this is if I'm gonna if I feel wearing makeup to work, this is the kind of stuff I'll wear, really minimal makeup, or it's a really hot sunny day, which is never in the UK, but you don't want to feel a lot of makeup on your face. That's the combo I will use for that. And then this Iconic Radiance Booster is the one that I use when I want just one step up, where it's still tinted moisturizer vibes, but it just gives you a little bit more coverage. And I've talked about this a lot on my channel. I ran out of my first tube of this. This is in the shade Shell Glow. This is my favorite shade of this. I purchased the shade Pearl Glow when I ran out. So the reason that I purchased this lighter shade in Pearl Glow was because I wanted it to be a little bit more versatile. So I thought I can use it in the winter months, I can also use it in the summer months, and just like mix it with a little bit of a darker concealer, because that is what I tend to do with the Iconic in Shell Glow. But it only really works for me in the summer months because it's that little bit, it's more of my like tan shade. So I thought, perfect, I'll just get the shade up. This is a completely different texture and formula on the skin than the Shell Glow. So I'm gonna try and see if I can show you on camera. It may not show up, but essentially what happens to this product, the lighter one, is it gets so chalky, you can see almost like streaks of it on your face, and it almost gives you like a white cast on your face, and it completely sits on top of the skin. It doesn't melt into the skin like the Shell Glow one does. It's just a really strange formula. I don't know if, anyway. I wanted to mention it because so many people recommend this product, and if you are like looking at the shades and thinking, oh, I'm definitely going to be the palest shade, do not buy this. This is not nice. I don't know if I got a dud. I may have got a dud, but it does not perform in the same way that the Shell Glow buys. So I put off buying the Shell Glow again because this is expensive. This is about £30, and I just wasted £30 on that Pearl Glow one. And I was kind of annoyed about it, you know? Like I was like, I don't want to give them more of my money just because I like went with my intuition and got it wrong. Eventually I caved and I couldn't do without the Shell Glow in my life, so I have it back in my life now. Let me show you them side by side so you can see kind of like a shade comparison, but it's just got kind of more of a golden hue to it. So this is the Pearl Glow one, and then this is the Shell Glow one, and you can see it's even like a little bit darker than my hand, but when I put it onto my skin, it really shears out, so it kind of melts in almost. I don't know how to describe it, but it doesn't add loads of coverage. It's what I imagine the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless filter to do, but people have said that the Iconic, I've never used the Charlotte Tilbury one, the Iconic one apparently has a little bit more coverage than the Charlotte Tilbury one. What I find is that the Iconic one doesn't really add coverage, it just adds a really nice kind of summer glow to your skin. And then when I mix it with the NYX concealer, it just makes the most gorgeous, slightly higher coverage than this combo tinted moisturizer-esque product, and then it also like fades really nicely through the day. So I actually also tried the e.l.f. Halo Glow just before I rebought the Iconic and spent another £30. I was like, let me try this because people say this is like a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless filter. I did not like this. It added a bit of glow when I first put it on, but then it just, all the glow went away. It's almost like it like mattified like an hour after I had it on, and it just didn't do anything to my skin. Whereas the Iconic one, it almost starts looking better throughout the day. It like meshes with the texture of your skin, and it just starts giving even more glow, but in a way that isn't like breaking up the makeup on your face. It just blends really well with like my skin and the natural sort of temperature of my skin, I guess. It works. So what I've been using when I want to go full glam, this is my favorite full coverage foundation at the moment. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin. You can see the bottles are very worn. I have shade 2 neutral for my kind of more winter months, and then I have shade 4 neutral for my more summer when I'm more tanned. I tend to mix these two together just to get the right level of shade for me, but you can tell why it's called Beautiful Skin Foundation, because it really just like gives you good skin in a bottle, but it blends so well again with my like natural skin texture, and it just kind of perfects everything. It really sets down throughout the day, so I will powder it, but it adds a really nice glow to the skin, but not too much of a glow that you look like sweaty. It doesn't break up on the face. Again, it just, once you set it in, it really stays there and it just looks nice throughout the whole evening. So this is like my wedding guest foundation that I've been wearing to all the weddings that I've gone to this year. This is like my evening, really nice dinner, you know, anniversary dinner night foundation. This is the foundation that I go to when I just want to know that my makeup is looking top tier, you know. I really like pairing it with my Hourglass Vanish concealer in the shade Creme. This is my favorite full coverage concealer. You only need a little touch of this, but it's so spreadable. It really pairs well with this foundation, and just this combo is so good as like wedding guest. Again, some full coverage concealers can feel very dry and heavy on the skin. This one does not feel heavy. You wouldn't really kind of know that you're wearing it necessarily. What I love about it is that it covers so well, so I can just put a little tiny dab of it on a spot, blend it out, and that is the spot completely gone. And then I can just set it with a bit of powder. It does not move for the whole day. It's really, really good. You know, when you're going to a wedding, you are wearing that makeup from like midday until midnight normally, and the combination of these two have worked really well in just making my skin look nice for that entire time. So yeah, really impressed with those. So those are all my favorite base products that I've been trying out and trying to find the perfect combo. I feel like I've finally found something for every occasion now. Moving on to cheek products, I have spoken probably about most of these in a favorites video previously, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but the Saie Dew blushes are the blushes that I have been wearing non-stop this summer. I have the shade Spicy, which I'm wearing today, which is the most gorgeous kind of deep terracotta bronze blush, and it looks really good with, if you have red hair, it looks really good with our colouring. It just has that kind of warm terracotta-y autumn colour undertone. And then I also have been enjoying, I picked this new one up, which is Sweetie. I ran out of my other kind of pinky colour, so I decided to test this one out. It's one of the new shades they came out with. If you want to see me trying this out, go back to my last makeup kind of get ready with me video. I feel like it was called like spring makeup, and I used this in it, and yeah, it's just a really nice pink color. I really love these because they're not like too pigmented, but they definitely give you enough to see that you're wearing blush. I also really like that they give a nice glow to the cheek as well, because they are called a dew blush, so they do add that little bit of like shine, which I like, but there's no glitter in them or anything. It's just kind of that glossy look on the cheek. And then for cream bronzer, I have gone back to my trusted favourite for summertime, which is the Saie Sun Melt Cream Bronzer. And I have in the shade, I think it's light, but the shade is rubbed off, unfortunately. I will double check that. Oh yeah, it's light bronze. So this is very used. I've had this maybe 2-3 years at this point. It may have expired, but I'm still using it and it's fine. I don't like using this in the wintertime when the temperature of, you know, the house is a little bit cooler, because I find that the texture isn't as good. It's a little bit harder, it's a little bit stiffer, it's a little bit more difficult to work with. But where this really comes into its own is in the summer months when the temperature is a little bit warmer. I just find this blends into my skin so much more easily, and it really kind of shears out very nicely. It looks like you've, you know, really gone and kind of got a little bit of a tan rather than like just painted loads of bronzer on your face. So I love how kind of natural this looks on the skin, and I love that it really wears again very nicely throughout the day. It adds a little bit of glow to the face, and yeah, just works really well with the rest of the products that I mentioned here. Now for powder bronzer, I recently picked up, I used this in the spring makeup video as well, the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Bronzer in the shade Luminous Bronze Light. So I was a little bit nervous about this when I first got it, that it was gonna look too orange. I'm actually wearing it today, And I think for the summertime, this is a good shade. I've been wearing it more so in like wedding day guest makeup, but also like evening makeup where I just want my bronzer to look a little bit more heavier. I want my face to look a little bit more sun-kissed than I would on like an everyday basis. This has been a really good one because it is that texture of the Ambient powders where, what's it called? Is it baked blushes and baked bronzers, where it looks like this kind of marbled texture. It's really finely milled and it just like, it's very kind of airbrush looking on the face and it really blends in really easily. The only thing is I do think in the winter time this is going to be a little bit too orange for my skin tone. It works really nicely now that I can kind of get away with looking a little bit more kind of tanned colour, like orangey tanned colour, but I think I'm going to want something a little bit more cool toned in the winter time. So if you've tried this, I was struggling to find which one that would be just from looking at online swatches, so maybe I need to go into store and like swatch them on my arm or something. But if you've tried a different shade of this and it's worked for you and you have similar kind of colouring to me, or you're very pale, then I would love to know what shade worked for you. It's definitely a splurge, but I mean it will last me forever, and I can see myself definitely just like keeping this as a kind of staple in my collection and just bringing it out whenever I want to look that little bit more bronzy and glowy and like evening time makeup. It's a nice one to have. It's a nice little bougie product to have in your collection. And then I just wanted to mention, like, put an honorary mention out because I recently picked this up again. This is the Glossier Boy Brow and I'm in the shade Blonde. This was a repurchase. I hadn't used it for like a year or so because I was using something else which I didn't like as much. So I went back to this once I ran out of that. I am not a big brow person. I will literally just run a bit of brow gel through my brows when I'm doing a bit more of a fuller makeup look and be good to go. That is the entirety of my brow routine. I do not spend a lot of time carving out my brows because my brows are already pretty full, and to be honest, on a day where I'm wearing like no makeup, I do not do my brows. I just leave them there on my face. But I really noticed a difference when I picked this up because the shade of it is just very ashy, and I really like that for my brows because it doesn't make them look too orange. I find if you get auburn brow shades it just doesn't work. I just really love the little fibers in this one. It also stays put all day, whereas I found previous brow products that I've used haven't. They just haven't really given much. But this one, you really can see a difference when you wear it versus when you don't wear it. I just really enjoy it. It's definitely worth the hype. I know this was like really all the trend like back in like 2019 era of makeup, but I still really like it and I think it is worth keeping in your collection or revisiting it if you haven't used it in a while. And then the final product I wanted to mention was my lip gloss that I have just been reaching for over and over again. This is the Gisou Honey Infused Lip Oil and this is in the shade Strawberry Sorbet. So this is what I have on my lips today. You can see it's that kind of like just perfect sort of clean girl-esque little bit of sheer tint red juicy lips, and it's very like, I feel like Hailey Bieber, that kind of vibe, which is very popular at the moment obviously. I just love the packaging of this as well. It feels a little bit different. It's like a wavy bottle. I haven't tried any of Gisou's products before. I haven't tried their hair products or anything, but I've really enjoyed this lip oil. It's a very jelly-like consistency. It's quite different to any lip gloss personally that I've tried before. I'm sure there are quite a few of these on the market now, but it's very like slippery jelly. It's actually very similar to the Glaze. I feel like it feels quite similar in that like slippery texture, but what I like about it is the amount of shine that then adds to your lips because it is that jelly-like texture. But compared to other lip oils that I've used in the past, they've sort of slipped off or they haven't like felt very comfortable on the lips. They've kind of dried out my lips after a while. This one doesn't do that. It really like feels like it's nourishing my lips, even though it may not be. I feel like lip balms are the best way to truly nourish your lips, but this is just a really good everyday comfortable, not sticky at all lip gloss to wear, and I love the shade of this. They have a few different ones, but I really like this kind of red, really sheer shade. So yeah, been loving that. I feel like that was a bit of a whistle stop tour, but those are my favorites at the moment. And yeah, like I said, I would love to hear what your favorites are, and if there's any particular videos you want to see from me, would love to hear what you would like to watch in the comments. And yeah, I hope that you are all doing well and taking care of yourself, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.